Sorry.
Pas de gens armés dans nos manifs.
Si tu savais que franchement, je mets la tête dans le sable. J'ai de la vie, 1.5.
Quand le sait avec vos guns. Flic de marde. I'm doing it, sir. And then I'm going to dance on the sidewalk and try to attract people who need to protest to come in. What other way to get people to do it? When I got here, there was 5. There are times where I'm like, late in the discussion.
Can you check if my tweet went out? Do you have your phone? Please, really? Yes, sir. Right. Not tonight, you?
No, I guess
Simon?
I'll share your,
yeah, please. I just tweeted out, or if you just want to share the yeah. You know what you're doing, Rick. I don't need to tell you. Did it go out? Yep. Cool.
I shared it.
You're so nice, Willie. All right, we are at 2 viewers. Welcome, 2 viewers. Hopefully more to follow. I am Adamo of the Link newspaper and 99% Media, and you are just tuning into a protest that is about to begin here at Phillips Square in downtown Montreal. We've got about 75 to 100 protesters currently gathered in Phillips Square, ready for tonight's Austerity Manif, the first of the spring. So we're bringing in the new season of protests. No indication so far of when it's going to begin. The assembling was scheduled for 8 p.m., but the march proper usually starts a little bit after that, maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes later. I went live a little bit early because a couple of minutes ago we had some senior members of the Montreal Police Department who are currently on the corner of Union and St. Catherine, right over there. They came in wanting to speak to presumably whom they believe to be the organizers of tonight's evening. This evening's protest, and they were quickly derided and yelled at by the protesters, who said that there were no organizers to tonight's protest, and they were asked none too kindly to leave the protest. So right now we've got police on standby. I myself saw about a dozen police vans on Union, a little bit further down over there. About a dozen vehicles, including 2 buses that appear to be full of Riot police officers on standby. And I've been told by a colleague that further down here past the square we've got a similar grouping of police vehicles, including the buses. So the indication this evening is that we do have Riot police on standby, although we do not have any here currently. And it's going to be that kind of evening. We've got Mind Awakened. Bonjour, Matt, UK Solidarity. Thank you very much for tuning in. So, what a lot of people have been asking and wondering about in terms of how things are going to go this evening is what is the police response going to be this evening? And people are asking that question in response to how the police acted during Montreal's anti-police brutality march a couple of weeks ago. Essentially, a lot of people were expecting that evening to be kind of a rock and roll night. The anti-police brutality demo, the yearly one, it has historically and traditionally been clamped down on by police, sometimes shut down before it even begins. But this year, no such event took place. In fact, the march was not only allowed to begin, but it was allowed to end. Protesters made their way from the starting point of Parc La Fontaine and eventually made their way to Cabot Square, a good 5 or 6 kilometers down the down the downtown core. The march was completely unimpeded by police. At no point did the Riot police officers make a presence on the ground. So that was the most surprising part of the evening, is that there were no Riot police officers deployed on the ground. They were on standby, driving in the buses alongside the route of the march, but they were not deployed. So a lot of people were quite surprised by that, and in fact many people were asking themselves if this was going to signify any kind of shift in police tactics moving forward. So that's why a lot of people have been asking on social media and wondering what tonight is going to look like. Myself included. I'm quite interested to see how the police react this evening. I was able to confirm with an SPVM Montreal Police mediator that no itinerary, I repeat, no itinerary was provided this evening for the march. But for the time being, we have a light police presence, a few police officers on bikes and mediators near Phillips Square. But again, no riot cops and no indication that police are going to try to block this march from happening. But you never know what's going to happen, so stand by. I'll do the quick plugs. As always, please follow me on Twitter, @MadDamour. My handle is in the title of the stream. And as always, check out the linknewspaper.ca and 99media.org for continuing coverage of Montreal protests and other breaking news. That felt like one really long run-on sentence. So we don't appear to have any members of the mainstream press here this evening. Far cry from the anti-police brutality demo where everybody was in town. You had CTV, Radio-Canada, all kinds of major news media on the ground, cameras, reporters, and so on. But this evening it appears to be independent media that's taking charge on coverage. Well, they're always there anyways, myself included, so not too much of a surprise. But no CTV, no Radio-Canada, no CBC, so this evening it's independent media, yours truly included. I suppose I should be grateful for the current state of weather in downtown Montreal. It's about 5 degrees, feels a little bit closer to zero, but we've got a warning from Environment Canada that tomorrow we will be subject to a polar vortex, which is the most awesome and terrifying term, I think, in meteorology, but it's going to get a good deal colder tomorrow, according to the weatherman/weatherwoman. So no more police vehicles in sight. It's still the same number. We've got a couple here on Union and further back down on that street. But the police presence is not increasing here at Phillips Square before things get underway. As always, questions, comments, anything you would like to say about what you were seeing this evening or about Montreal protests in general, or, you know what, anything at all. As long as it's like kind of sort of relevant to news and things like that, global events, politics, go ahead. We're all inclusive here. So that's about the extent of the police response that we have right now. We've got 4 police officers on bikes on standby. We've got Willie Wilson on photography detail for the Link newspaper. How you doing, Willie?
Good. How are you?
Tell him what it is.
I can't figure out what ISO to shoot.
What ISO? I'd go for an evening like this. I'd play it safe and put it at 1600. 1600. That's my magic number for nighttime photography. Oh, we've got more police officers here across the street from Phillips Square. So in addition to the 4 that we just saw to my right, we now have ahead of me about a half dozen, and a couple more on the corner of Union and St. Catherine. So, excuse me, a little cough there. We've got about a dozen police officers on bikes currently on the scene. Willie, can you hold my phone for a second while I put my mittens on? I'm a little chilly.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Oh, the power.
Yeah, you have all the power now.
Oh, yes.
You're going to do your triumph voice the whole evening?
Get a little puppet over here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Look at all the protesters over here. Oh, yes. Look at all the pretty anarchists. Pretty Matemores.
Oh. All right. Gloves on.
I'm crashing your head.
All right. Gloves on. Rock and roll. So the crowd appears to have grown a little bit people filing into the square. We're at about 100 protesters now, in my estimation. Highly unscientific. I just kind of look at the crowd and spitball it. It seems like about 100. That's the most difficult part when you're doing the write-up of these protests after the fact, and you just sort of like, you got to put an estimate in there, you know, a number of protesters. You can't say like several. You can't say a large group. You got to, you know, try to spitball it. And you got to use your recollection, and sometimes that can be a bit difficult. So I'm usually a little bit conservative with those numbers, but you got to do what you got to do. We've got Rick Fournier from 99 Media, Simon also live streaming on 99. We've got a lot of 99 people out here this evening.
Good morning.
How's it going? Morning? Oh, no.
Good morning somewhere.
I'm all mixed up now. Well, we got somebody watching in the UK, so it's early morning over there.
Good morning, UK, from 99media.org.
We've got Fuser It saying, thanks for streaming. Thank you for watching. That's the truly impressive part, is the people who watch. Not what I do. I point my camera and things and talk. So while we're waiting for the protest to begin, I'll talk a little bit about a recent development in local Quebec politics that has gotten a lot of coverage, and a lot of people are riled up about it. Essentially, a member of Premier Philippe Couillard's cabinet has temporarily stepped down amidst accusations that he was embroiled in some campaign financing business with some allegedly unsavory folks. All this week we were hearing about how he was denying these charges and wrongdoings, and there were some leaked emails, as there often are. But today the announcement came out that Mr. Sam Hamad was going to be stepping down temporarily, which I don't know if there's been any elaboration on that one, but anyways, temporarily standing down. But a lot of people talking about how this is maybe turning into a scandal, because you've got somebody who's inside the inner circle there of the Liberal government. So a lot of chatter about that, but I haven't seen any signs or anything relating to that this evening. I haven't overheard anybody specifically talking about that. This protest was scheduled before this news broke, so not necessarily in response to that particular development.
So what exactly is happening?
This is an anti-austerity demonstration.
Okay.
Yes, and it's organized by, it's in French it's referred to as the Grosse Manif, which basically just translates to fucking big protest.
Okay.
And this is the label that's used for a lot of the nighttime anti-austerity demos.
Okay.
And usually you'll see a lot of the same people who attend this one, but it's essentially against, government cutbacks, and also the police responses to prior protests.
All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, yeah. No way. So we're getting, oh wow. So Fuser It's saying here, just so we connect, same guy that sent you pizza a bit back. Wow, my goodness. I was just telling somebody about this recently and how I'm still in disbelief that happened. But so good to see you in the stream again. Welcome. No need to send pizzas this evening quite yet, but I'll keep you updated as the evening goes on. But thanks very much for joining us. So yeah, I'll tell the story quickly for those who haven't heard me say before, and if you have, I'll make it quick. Basically, the gentleman in the in the stream right now was watching me live stream last summer during a silent sit-in in front of police headquarters. And this lasted a good 3+ hours, and eventually this gentleman from Chicago, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were from Chicago, basically called a local pizzeria here in Montreal and ordered, I think it was 4 or 5 large pizzas with PayPal and had them delivered for the protesters and the journalists who were covering this thing. And man, people reacted very well. That was good pizza, man. Yeah, that was good stuff. Mind Awaken saying, I remember that. Yeah, me too. I feel obliged every time I tell that story to people. I have to show them like the picture that I took of the empty pizza boxes in front of police headquarters, as if I need to like prove that it actually happened, because it's still kind of an amazing story. That, but you know, it goes to show that this is the kind of love and solidarity that you get on social media and in these circles. People who tune into these, I've always said that the audience is fantastic, and I meant it, and I still mean it. You guys are great. So yeah, we seem to have the numbers in the crowd ramping up little by little. We're up to about I'd say past 100 now, a little bit over 100 people getting ready for this protest. A couple of the police vehicles that were hanging around nearby took off and are no longer near the square, but we do still have a handful of police who appear to be on standby on the bikes. Hey, Rick, remember the guy who ordered us pizza?
Yeah,
He's watching.
Hey, thanks for the pizza, man.
So aside from that, what did I cover? So we've gone over basically what's happening this evening. Anti-Austerity demonstration that was planned about a few weeks ago, I'd say. That's the Ausstergolsmanif, that label being used once again. I believe that this is the first of that theme of protest that's happening this spring. So ushering in Printemps 2016, or Spring 2016, if you will. Talked about Hamad. What else is going on? I'm doing well. Things are good. I got engaged in December to a fantastic lady. What else? School's good. Getting good grades. Straight A Matt, that's what they call me. That's what I call myself. But, you know, technically, I'm doing okay. Yeah, Mind Awakened saying watch out for the gas, Matt. You know how they like to protect you with it. Yep, I've got a scarf on standby if need be. I should be extra careful this evening because I've got this bloody cough that it's going away little by little, but I'm not able to shake it off entirely. So that could end up messing me up something proper if I get good and gas tonight. So I'll do my best. I'll try my best. Yeah, Fuser, it's saying weather is warming up, more people to come and step up. Yeah, that's typically what I've observed. Is once the weather gets a little bit nicer, warmer, you do see the attendance shoot up quite dramatically. So actually, about 10 minutes before I went live, a little something odd happened. Something peculiar, completely unrelated to this demonstration. A duo, two people, not protesters, just two dudes, started a fist fight in Phillips Square, and we're really going at each other, like Fight Club style. So they were just doing that, and maybe not never fight. Don't do that ever, because it's bad for you. But especially in the middle of Phillips Square with a bunch of police officers on standby, not the best spot, So that was a weird start to the evening. You getting chilly, Willie? I totally didn't do that on purpose, by the way. Chilly Willie, it just happened naturally.
You know this television show?
Yeah. Yeah, little penguin. Yeah.
Once again, streaming another streamer.
We're breaking the internet, Simon.
Matt Damon live reporting always.
Always, all the time. We got Simon of 99 Media, also of 99 Media, streaming this evening. So 99media.org. If you wanna dual stream, people tell me that all the time. They're watching like 3 live streams, Twitter, And I'm asked sometimes, like, do you get offended that like they're not concentrating? Like, no, get all the information you can. see it from as many angles as you can. It's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. We always have different vantage point to the situation.
Exactly.
That's happening.
I'm not going to be pointing my camera in every direction. You're not, so yeah. And it's often happened where in the past, we're doing a post-mortem trying to figure out what the hell happened at a protest, and we'll look at each other's footage and then try to reconstruct it that way, and that's very, very, very helpful.
Yep.
Yep. And we've got people who are filming this evening as well, photography, all media covered this evening. This is a larger turnout than I was expecting. I was expecting about half.
When I got here, 7h30 à peu près, là, 3 media, 1 protest.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of very worried, but no, there's quite a turnout so far, and since it's not moving yet, it might be time for more people to join.
Remember the dude who ordered us pizza in front of SPV headquarters?
Wait.
He's live right now. He's saying, watching both of you, live streamers bring the truth. And live stream viewers bring the pizza.
Shut up.
So I've done a couple of evenings live streaming with this new smartphone of mine. I graduated from my Galaxy Note 2 to an LG G4, and so far I'm quite happy with the results. We've got good exposure, good image stabilization. Very happy with it. Very happy. Battery's more stable, much more stable.
C'est un 8-core, ça, si je me trompe pas.
Un G4, ouais. C'est un...
8-core.
Oui. Je pense que c'est un 8-core. With 3 gigs of RAM, I think. Yeah, gets the job done.
Belle machine.
All right. So we've been live now for 22 minutes on the dot. I was just waiting for that.
On the dot, double as you, 44. Je le sais parce que j'ai mon timer en plus, parce que je l'enregistre tout ça en même temps.
So yeah, like I said, we had a proposed start time of 8 p.m. this evening, but that it never happens quite that way. We're still waiting for things to get underway. Still overheard some people telling their friends to text people. And why was that guy? Why are people worried about stepping in front of a cell phone? Who cares? Who cares if you ruin my picture? The street belongs to everybody, you know. Anyways, yeah, we had some calls in the crowd for people to text their friends and get more people out here this evening. So aside from the people who were just running late, maybe we've got more people who got the call and came out to participate this evening. How's it going, Corey? Not too bad.
Une blague, une blague pour la facilité. Savez-vous qui est le capitaine dans Moby Dick? Capitaine Akar.
So the mood is picking up a little bit, people chatting a bit more. You can hear the crowd, the volume out of the crowd going up a bit, so that tells me, I can feel it in my bones that this party's going to start in a little bit. So stay tuned. We've got one Julian Pham McKenzie of the Link newspaper, former sports editor, former Sports Online editor, winner of the Sportsnet, what was it? The Sportsnet You're Recruited, the inaugural scholarship. Man, the man is talented. Anyways, he's in the stream saying, "Be safe out there." I always am, Julian. I got you looking over me. Follow Julian the Intern on Twitter. I've got my backup battery on standby if need be. Usually I can get about 2 hours of streaming out of this puppy before I have to plug into the external battery pack. So we'll see if that's... I'm going to guess that that's going to be the case this evening, given that we're already 25 minutes in. But I arrived here with 100%, so we'll see how that goes. Battery life, man. That's the bottleneck. That's the one that gets you.
Ça n'avait pas joué. La foule grossir et la foule diminuer après. Il y a 10 minutes, t'aurais dû dire ça, Marc. 50 personnes, t'as gardé 5 minutes.
We've got Robert Fenwick saying, "Hi Matt, good to see you streaming again. It has been a while. Good to see you too." Hasn't been a while. I've been streaming, but you know what it probably was? I was on the Ustream service up until recently, but I've had to switch over to live on YouTube because the Ustream app has just been too unreliable for me, especially on this phone. I tried streaming, and on 2 occasions, regardless of the resolution I was streaming at, after about 5 minutes, it would just freak out, and the image would cut out, and the sound was still good. But anyways, but I'm happy with this service with the live on YouTube, and we do have CTV here. I was saying earlier how we didn't have any mainstream media on the ground, but we do have a cameraman from CTV who's just made an appearance. So yes, Robert Fenwick, as I was saying, good to see you. Good to see you in the stream. Rob Tomorrow. Yes. I was trying to put a name to the name. Name to the name. And it's funny, even though I've moved over to live on YouTube, I still occasionally will see people who were watching me on Ustream making the jump as well, watching me on YouTube and recognizing their names, and always nice to see the regular customers. And Fuserit saying, I heard the Ustream app is really sucking battery power as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've seen a significant increase in battery life on live on YouTube. Well, it's hard to gauge just because I haven't been able to do a full demo with Ustream on this new phone. But that may very well be. Well, I know that that battery power thing might be related to the fact that Ustream has opened up a lot more phones to stream in HD. I think that weren't available before, so perhaps that's leading some people to see a big decrease because they're streaming at a higher quality. And Mind Awakened is Mr. Orbit. See, I'm seeing these other names and I'm freaking out here. But yes, okay. So Mind Awakened is Mr. Orbit, and we've got Rob Fenwick is Rob Tomorrow. Okay. See, I know all these names, but I don't know the names behind the names. Welcome to you all. Gavin Ashurik, hey Matt, good luck tonight and be safe. I'll try to be safe. Luck, I don't need luck. I've got gumption. And a bottle of water. And some cough drops. And a backup battery. And iron will. Alright, so we got the drums starting. That's always a good sign that things are going to get underway. We did have an announcement a few minutes ago from somebody saying that they were just waiting for a few more people to show up, and that things were going to get underway in about 5 minutes. So yes, 2 things that I'm particularly going to be on the lookout for this evening. A, the appearance or non-appearance of Riot police on the ground. And 2, whether or not police officers who are on the ground are going to try to block access on certain intersections, whether they're going to try to stifle the path of the protest at any point. Because at the anti-police brutality demo, that was not the case. The march was able to go unimpeded from start to finish with no police interference. So it'll be very interesting to see if that is the strategy as well this evening. Alright, so the drumming is now starting in earnest. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I believe we are off. The protest now leaving Phillips Square, taking to St. Catherine Street. The familiar chant, "À qui la rue, à nous la rue," being yelled out by the protesters. So now headed east on St. Catherine, a handful of police officers on bikes getting ahead of the protest to lead it from the front. My estimates are that we have a little over 100 protesters here this evening. So it appears that this evening, at least at the start, we are not going to have the familiar riot police officers marching alongside the protest on the sidewalk. No riot police officers in sight, although I did see some buses a bit earlier filled with riot cops, so they are presumably on standby. Heading east down St. Catherine towards Place des Arts. Coming up to the intersection of St. Catherine and St. Alexandre, we now have about a half dozen police officers on bikes at the head of the march. We've got several police vehicles at the rear of the march following its path. So the makeup of the crowd this evening could be described as the more militant arm of the protest movement in Montreal. We have a lot of black flags and communist flags, and the chants are very much anti-capitalist. Coming up to St. Catherine and Blurry. Now on St. Catherine and Blurry. So we've got about a half dozen police officers at the front on bikes and roughly the same number at the rear of the march. Continuing east on St. Catherine past the intersection of Blurry. Now coming through the festival district of downtown Montreal, Place des Arts and thereabouts. Coming up on the intersection of Jeanne Mance and St. Catherine, appearing to continue east. So we are moving in the direction of Montreal Police Headquarters here in the downtown core. Still no riot police on the ground. So people continuing to, with their chants, taunt Quebec's Premier Philippe Couillard. And we've been continuing to hear anti-austerity slogans, anti-capitalist slogans this evening. Two bystanders just came into the march and showed their solidarity with some pumping fists and screams, and the crowd appeared to like that. Screams right now from the crowd saying, "With us in the street," calling for people to join. Coming up to the intersection of St. Catherine and Saint-Urbain. Just to the left over here on Saint-Urbain is where Montreal Police Headquarters are located. There are about a half dozen police officers in the distance who seem to be guarding the entrance of the police headquarters. The crowd continuing eastward, moving past the police headquarters. Coming up on St. Catherine and Clark. And there we go. We have the first appearance this evening of Riot Police, who are on standby in the parking lot near police headquarters. We've got about a dozen Riot Police officers on standby. They are not marching. They are not inserting themselves into the demonstration. They appear to be on standby. calls right now from within the crowd for people to stay grouped together. Perhaps that sentiment coming to light after the appearance of the riot police officers. Moving past the intersection of Clark, coming up to Saint-Laurent and St. Catherine. So saw a few people just now looking over their shoulders, presumably to see if the riot police officers were going to be following. And it does not appear that they are. So the riot police officers that were stationed in the parking lot appear to be on standby, and they are not joining the path of the march. Passing the intersection of St. Catherine and Saint-Laurent. Look at that. Half Moon Run is playing here from the 1st to the 4th. I have no idea who that is. Past the intersection of St. Catherine and Berger. The demo moving along at a brisk pace. Worth noting that this is mostly the younger demographic out here this evening, university-aged, so perhaps contributing to the faster pace this evening. People walking quickly, which is less the case when you've got families and some older people out. I hate passing this stretch of road when I'm live streaming, because I'm passing all the burger and pizza shops, and it smells so good! Up to the intersection of St. Catherine and Hôtel de Ville, continuing east on St. Catherine. So I might revise my estimate of the number of people that we have here, maybe around 150. About 150 people currently continuing to march east on St. Catherine towards Barrie. No itinerary provided, so unable to say what the destination is or when the march is supposed to end. I'll do the quick plugs. As always, if you're not already, please follow me on Twitter @Madamour. My handle is in the title of this stream. And check out thelinknewspaper.ca and 99media.org for continuing coverage of Montreal protests and other breaking news. coming up to Saguenay and St. Catherine. So far, no indication of police trying to control the path of the march. Although police are typically more forceful in blocking access when the crowd is moving westward on St. Catherine, and we are going in the opposite direction. So we'll see if police tactics shift this evening as the direction of the march does. Renewed calls from the crowd for everybody to stay grouped together. Now getting closer to UQAM, University of Quebec in Montreal. Coming up to the intersection of St. Catherine and Saint Denis. Battery check, 77%. I'm golden. So continuing east on St. Catherine past the intersection of Saint Denis, heading towards Barry Street. And we'll see where it goes from there. But so far, police are relatively hands-off, reminiscent of their approach on the evening of the anti-police brutality demo some weeks ago. No riot police on the ground, other than the ones we saw stationed on standby near police headquarters. And we are now coming up to the intersection of St. Catherine and Barrie. So we have calls now for people to turn left and continued calls for people to remain grouped together. So the group has turned left off of St. Catherine onto Barrie. And as of right now, we've got four police officers on bikes who are mobilizing. Some more coming up now. And in the distance, there are a few police vehicles, including a riot cop bus that are mobilizing in response to this turn by the protesters. Now heading north. So we've got about a half dozen police officers on bikes at the intersection of de Maisonneuve and Barrie. There seemed to be a quick discussion there, so perhaps trying to figure out the new strategy as the march starts going north on Barrie. over here and calls for the crowd to turn left. And it appears that the 200 or so protesters are heeding that call to turn left onto de Maisonneuve off of Barry. Look at that. Isn't that neat? So we are now heading west on de Maisonneuve. Back in the direction of the downtown core. So, quick recap. Anti-Austerity demonstration, which started at Phillips Square, marched all the way to Barry, and did a 180, and we are now moving, westward on de Maisonneuve, back towards the downtown core. As always, questions, comments, anything you'd like to see to say about what you're seeing this evening, do not be shy. Put it in the chat, and I will respond as quickly as I can. The 200 or so protesters passing the intersection of de Maisonneuve and Saint-Denis, continuing westward. Oh, scratch that. Taking a right off of de Maisonneuve onto Saint-Denis.
Going too well. This is going too well.
Protester telling me that it's going too well in his estimation. But the people are now on Saint-Denis Street, a very popular bar and restaurant destination. A lot of screaming. But we've got a lot of passerbys screaming in support. But we do have traffic being blocked right now as people walk against traffic on Saint-Denis. All right, some supporting honks. Mind Awakened saying, I agree with the protester, they up to something, be careful. Well, like I said, the evening of the anti-police brutality demonstration saw a similarly hands-off approach on the part of the police. They had no riot cops on the ground and essentially let the march go in its intended path. So we are seeing something similar this evening, and we'll see if that changes at any point. John Cook praising my ability to expertly dodge people. Thank you. Not just people, objects. Look at that. Wow. Thanks, John. Continuing north on Saint-Denis. I had the obligatory explanation I had to make to tourists a little bit earlier. Some people from out of town came up to me and asked me what was going on. Always nice to inform people on the happenings and developments in the anti-austerity movement in Montreal. They thanked me. I thanked them. It was very civil. Coming up on the intersection of Saint-Denis and Ontario. no visible increase in the number of police officers following this march. Continuing north on Saint-Denis. Calls from the crowd to turn left. And that appears to be the direction. Taking a left onto Ontario off of Saint-Denis. Continuing westward direction back towards the downtown core. So we are now on Ontario, heading west, coming up on the intersection of Ontario and Joly. Coming up to the 1 hour mark of this live stream, and we've been marching for approximately, I'd say 25, 30 minutes. The eternal question being asked. We've got Clunchialar saying Mathieu d'Amour en anglais. Yes, in fact, my name is French Canadian because I myself am French Canadian, but I do these streams in English to service the anglophone community. Mais y a aucun problème, je suis aussi francophone. Alors bonsoir et merci. Walking by Cégep Vieux-Montréal, continuing on Ontario, westward. Coming up on the intersection of Ontario and Hôtel de Ville. Continuing west. Oh, this is beautiful. Simon asking for a bottle of water live, and the love of his life delivers. That's beautiful, Simon. I love it. I love it.
On venait de tourner le coin de Saint-Denis, Ontario. Ça a fait une bouteille d'eau. Message à la modératrice, une bouteille d'eau, s'il te plaît, si tu peux.
Continuing past the intersection of Hôtel de Ville and Ontario. Still 4 police officers on bikes at the front of the march and a couple of police vehicles. And roughly the same kind of presence, about a half dozen police officers on bikes and a couple of vehicles at the rear. And we are now past the 1 hour mark on this live stream of a anti-austerity demonstration in downtown Montreal. The Hostie de Grosse Manif, first of the season. Stay tuned to see what happens. As always, please follow me on Twitter if you are not already at Matt Damour. My handle is in the title of the stream. Check out the linknewspaper.ca and 99media.org for continuing coverage of Montreal protests and other breaking news. Renewed calls for everybody to stay grouped together as we come up to another intersection, this time Ontario and Saint-Dominique, continuing west. Police officers on bikes, mobilizing, moving to the head of the march. And a handful of cops on bikes remain at the rear of the march. Coming up to Ontario and Saint-Laurent. And we've got a quick turn to the left, called for by people at the front of the march. But the majority of people appear to be, wait, we've got some negotiating going on, and finally it seems like people are going to continue down Ontario, continuing west past the intersection of Ontario and Saint-Laurent. So people reacting and changing their path based on their perception of where the Riot police officers are stationed in wait. We've got police officers on bikes moving in to get ahead of the march as it continues westward on Ontario. So we've looped back around and we're heading back in the direction of the start point, the downtown core of Montreal. We're now on the intersection of President Kennedy and Ontario. I believe people are trying to figure out what the next direction is. People saying left. So now left and towards the direction of Saint-Aubin, and we are going towards the police headquarters on Saint-Aubin. So no doubt we will have some police officers guarding the entrance, as we saw earlier, and I can see some in the distance, about a half dozen. So we're seeing a lot more of the bike cops mobilizing towards the front of the march as it approaches the police headquarters, about a dozen in all. Heading south on Saint-Aubin. And do keep in mind that we have some riot police officers stationed nearby, on standby in a parking lot behind the police headquarters. So in total, we've got about a dozen police officers here stationed in front of the police headquarters entrance. Police do have their batons out and are clutching them in front of them as the protesters advance. And it appears that the crowd is moving past the entrance of police headquarters without incident. There were some angry shouts, anti-police slogans, but nothing beyond that. So now continuing south on Saint-Aubin, coming up on the intersection of St. Catherine. Let's see where this goes now. I'm gonna guess it's gonna go right. I just got a feeling. Police mobilizing ahead of the group. And there we go, right off of Saint-Aubin, on to St. Catherine. We've got some traffic that's going to be disrupted, but not a lot. So now, continuing west, back on St. Catherine, but this time going west. Back towards the downtown core and the starting point of this demonstration at Phillips Square. We've got some drivers honking their horns in support. Continuing westward on St. Catherine towards the intersection of Blurry. We've got a vehicle here with New Jersey license plates and some slightly concerned-looking individuals overhearing militant protesters shouting in French. That must be a fun experience. So the crowd appears to have sustained its its members. We've got about 100 to 150 protesters currently marching west on St. Catherine, and the police presence has not increased. Still no riot police on the ground following the march. Only police officers on bikes and a number of vehicles at the front and the back of the march. Now taking a left on Jeanne Mance off of St. Catherine, heading south. We've got some disagreement here. We got a group there that didn't get the memo. There we go. All right. They run fast because you don't want to be necessarily isolated in these situations. So the overwhelming sentiment that won out here is to continue west on St. Catherine. Coming up to Blurry and St. Catherine. So we are now covering familiar territory as we come up to the intersection of Blurry. We seem to have a fan of Montreal protests. The gentleman, not so much. Now very near to our starting point of Phillips Square, continuing west on St. Catherine, passing the intersection of St. Alexandre. Worth noting, we've got a lot of people in the crowd with scarves and goggles, and I imagine that's in anticipation of any tear gas or pepper spray that would be deployed by police, but no indication that that's what the police have in mind this evening, at least not yet. The police at no point have blocked off access or tried to funnel the protest into a particular direction, and we've had no riot police officers in the march or walking alongside it. I am quite interested to see how the police respond to this continued westward movement on St. Catherine. Typically, the police would try to block access past Phillips Square or thereabouts. But as I was stating earlier in the stream, on the evening of the anti-police brutality demo, the march was allowed to pass Phillips Square and continue westward on St. Catherine all the way to Cabot Square, which was very surprising. None the least to the journalists in attendance who were expecting the police to be more forceful. coming up on Aylmer and St. Catherine, and then Phillips Square. Got some Burger King diners being treated to a show. And calls right now for people to continue west on St. Catherine. Let's see what the crowd does. And I think we've got some takers. People passing the intersection of Aylmer and St. Catherine, passing Phillips Square. This is usually the cutoff point here, not past Union for the direction of the march, but it appears that police are going to allow the protesters to continue marching westward on St. Catherine past Union and through the downtown core. Rick, they're doing it again. They're letting them go again.
We don't know where we're walking to.
Nope. We're going to Cabot Square, damn it.
No justice, no peace!
No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace!
Coming up to Robert Bourassa and St. Catherine. So just in case people are putting messages in the chat, I haven't seen any updates in a while. I do apologize. Sometimes the app that I use stops transmitting messages to me. So if I'm not answering, it's not because Daddy doesn't love you anymore. I'm just not getting the messages. But I'll try to catch up with you all later, but I'll continue live streaming and commenting for now. Past the intersection of Robert Bourassa and St. Catherine, headed towards McGill College Avenue. So this is Saturday night, and we got a lot of bars and restaurants on this path here on St. Catherine. So we've got a lot of people out for smokes, walking around, getting a show. And calls from the protesters asking people to join them in the street. Got a lot of perplexed bystanders walking by, but mostly smiles. Coming up on the intersection of McGill College Avenue and St. Catherine. Continuing westward on St. Catherine. We've got a couple of protesters waving hello to Riot police officers who are in the vehicles on adjacent streets. We're following the path of the protest. But as it's been the case all evening, we do not have Riot police officers on the ground following the path of the march. Police officers on bikes continue to follow, and that is the extent of the police presence right now. A lot of people taking out their cell phones. We're all citizen journalists. I think I messed up that woman's shot. I heard the fake shutter go off just as I was walking by. She's gonna hate me forever. Cries from the crowd asking who does St. Catherine belong to. It belongs to us. Coming up to Metcalfe and St. Catherine, continuing west on St. Catherine. I have no idea what that man is screaming. But there was an undercurrent of alcoholic beverage emanating odor-wise. You know what I'm saying. Passing the intersection of Metcalfe and St. Catherine, continuing west. Maybe a little too early for analysis of this whole business of police letting the march proceed unimpeded, but I have to wonder how this is going to impact future protests, whether or not it's going to embolden more people to come out in the street in the face of a lighter police response. That's something we hear quite often, is that people are often reticent to come to these nighttime anti-austerity protests because they're afraid of what the police response is going to be, and the kettling, ticketing, and so forth, tear gas.